talking to you anytime he thinks you're going to be able to listen to him. The reason why God comes and sleep a lot is because you can't do anything about it. You sleep.
Right. So he speaks to you through dreams and visions.
Oh, I know he speaks to me through dreams.
Yeah.
He speaks to me through dreams. But you know what? Learn how to see God in everything.
Yeah. That's my name.
God is in everything. And you gotta be able to, when the Bible says pray without ceasing, that's what he means. When you pray without ceasing, you can hear God at any time, any place, anywhere, under any circumstances. Whenever he needs to talk to you. That's praying without ceasing. That's being able to quiet your soul. You don't quiet your spirit. People say quiet your, no, you quiet your soul. Your soul distracts your spirit. It's not the other way around. Okay? You have to learn how to quiet your soul because that's your emotions. That's your will. That's your mind. That's your intellect. That's your imagination. That's what all of that is. You know what I'm saying? No, not the imagination. I put the imagination in your spirit. I'm being different from people. I believe your imagination is in your spirit. That's why it's able to touch so many things. It's only so much your soul can touch. Okay, but your imagination can touch anything. Okay? Now, I want you to turn to 2 Corinthians 12:5. See, because we got to understand that, dude, God is calling y'all to come higher. And he calling me to come higher. I already know it. And when I say higher, see, when I say come higher, saying Christians be like, or believers be like, oh man, what does that mean? You know what? Find out what it means for you. I don't know what it means. Because I don't know where you are. No, that's a lie. I do know where some of y'all are. But it's not for people to tell you where you are and who you are. It's for God to tell you. Because if I tell you something and you believe it, when I piss you off, you ain't going to believe it though. No. You're going to be like, man, this nigga on something, man. But if God tells you, it can never be taken away from you.
Right.
And that's what you got to understand. So 12:5. Now watch this. This is going to be beautiful right here. Now, let me give you the history. Paul went to the third heaven one day. He was able to travel places in the spirit realm that other people couldn't go. He was able to hear stuff and see stuff that other people couldn't. Watch this. And he said, I will boast about a man like that. But I will not boast about myself, except about my weaknesses. Hold up. Hold up. If I asked you to brag, you would not tell me your sin. You would not tell me the stuff you bad at. He's saying, I'm going to brag about my weakness. You ain't going to come tell, I'll be like, man, I can talk, man, I write well. Paul telling you I'm illiterate. Everything bad about him is what he brags about. He don't brag about good stuff because Paul has fully accepted who he is. He's not afraid of what he's not. He know God gonna use him with his good and his bad. So he don't sweep the bad under the carpet. He let everybody see it because he ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. He know who he belongs to. He know what he called to do. And he know he's walking in purpose. And he knows that your opinion about his weaknesses will not stop him from walking in God's strength. We got to learn how to do that.
This is a quick way to get you out the way, right?
That's right. You don't brag about your weakness. We brag about our strength. Watch this.
I told my, like today, my boss, we typing a paper to the underwriter. And I said, how you spell such and such? He said, man, you know what that spell something. I said, hey, that ain't one of my talents.
Right.
Now, how you spell it?
Right. You gonna tell me how to spell it, Mom?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Watch this.
I hate when they just say, look it up.
Verse 6. Even if I should choose to boast, I would not be a fool, because I would be speaking the truth. He said, if I tell y'all really how raw I am, I wouldn't even be lying. Dude, I went to heaven and came back. That's what he's telling them. He like, man, I'm really that cold. But he not bragging about it. Watch this. But I refrain so no one will think more of me than is warranted by what I do or say. So he don't want you to think that he all that and he not. Watch this. To keep me from becoming conceited because of these surpassingly great revelation, there was given to me a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. So he's saying, man, it's something that I can't stop doing. It's a weakness that constantly overtakes me. But watch this. 3 times I asked the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. This is the last thing I'm going to tell you. He says that God's grace is sufficient. You need weaknesses because the only time you operate in God's strength is when you're in your weakness. Man. You don't operate in God's strength when it's something you good at. You only operate in God's strength when it's something you're not good at. You only operate in his strength when you cannot do it. God's strength is not part of your success. It's only part of your failure. I'm telling y'all, you got to be able to embrace your weaknesses or God will never be able to use you. Stop going to church to not be weak. You go to church to get his grace because it's sufficient. You fulfill purpose because of his grace. Just like you saved by grace, you only fulfill purpose by grace. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with God. The only way you can do stuff for God is because you weak. And when you start understanding that, you're going to find purpose. Purpose is not in your strength. It's only in your weakness. Do y'all hear me? It's only in your weakness. He just said it right there. His grace is sufficient in his weakness so that he can operate in God's strength. When you're doing something you're good at, whose strength you operating in?
Your own.
Your own. That's why he has to make you do stuff you don't want to do. You don't like speaking in front of people? Get your hand up here and speak.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? You don't like saying sorry to people? Go say sorry to somebody. That's the only way that's the only way you fulfill purpose. It's in your weakness. So you gotta embrace everything you are. Because as long as you only embrace the good part of you, you have none of God's strength.
Wow, man.
I can conclude on that. Y'all can ask questions now.
I don't really like public speaking, but in the position I am in work, I always have to be talking in front of people, and I always feel the exact same.
But that's good though. See, just because you don't feel comfortable, don't mean God ain't doing what he doing. You know what I'm saying?
You just answered the question I asked my mom early today. And I asked her, I say, I feel God